Sometimes when you're in the journey, you actually forget where you have started. So I think I've been so busy thinking about what next. I actually forgot where I began and how far I've gone.
Very deeply interested to know from you your journey as a woman entrepreneur setting up a manufacturing facility.
It's just that excitement to create something new and take it to the people, get their feedback, improve on it.
I want to know, how did that video just go viral for you? Today you are like 35,000 plus followers.
Definitely felt like a student when I came there and they're like, yeah, what is this?
Is listening more important or is talking more important?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vansh Pardeshi, your speaker for today. I would like to thank you everyone present here for your interest in the insights of Midas that is specifically designed and executed for budding young entrepreneurs who wants to accomplish their entrepreneurial dreams with the help of right mentorship and guidance by top-notch business coaches and real-time successful startup founders. Talking about our guest over here, Ms. Sriya Nerella. Today, we have the privilege of welcoming an inspiring entrepreneur who has turned challenges into stepping stones. Sriya Nerella, founder of Kanuka Organics, as a former student of Midas School of Entrepreneurship, Sriya's journey is a powerful testament to the idea that you don't need a business background to build a successful, profitable venture. In manufacturing palm jaggery, palm sugar, dehydrated vegetables, and dehydrated fruits, with sheer grit, determination, and a passion for sustainable organic products, she has launched and established Kanuka Organics, which now stands as a successful brand in its industries. Sriya's story motivates us to pursue our dreams wholeheartedly, regardless of where we come from or what prior experience we have. She reminds us that with a strong vision, willingness to learn, and perseverance, anything is possible. Her journey teaches us the importance of embracing challenges and continuously pushing boundaries. Thank you so much, our guest, for taking out their important time and giving us for that. Thank you so much. Please welcome Sriya Nerella. Please bring her. Talking about our managing director, Ms. Pooja Shah. Ms. Pooja Shah has been the helm of leading Midas towards an accelerated growth. While she began working at the age of 13 in her own family-owned business, she went on to become the Dean Student Activities at Flame University at a young age of 21. Midas has been crown jewel which has been shaped and nourished under the direction of Ms. Pooja Shah. All her abilities as a personal mastery coach and entrepreneur culminates into a beautifully designed program called Transcend. This is a masterclass where students get in touch with their real selves, their environment and emotion, which propels them to take charge and move ahead in all aspects of life. With a global perspective for an Indian business, Ms. Pooja Shah is spearheading Midas towards a bright future of entrepreneurial revolution. This vision, the Midas School of Entrepreneurship, which carries the legacy of 250 plus startups and family businesses with worth of rupees 1000 crore plus revenues on the paper. Ms. Pooja has also been awarded as the Woman Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 by Millennium Divas at the Bombay Stock Exchange. Please make a big round of applause for our Managing Director, Ms. Pooja. Now talking about our Head of Incubation, Mr. Rahul Uppal. Mr. Rahul Uppal has 1.5 decade of experience and working alongside 50 plus founders across industries, geographies and stages of startups. He has executed his own startup, raised funds, built teams and launched in multiple cities. He was recognized as the 35 under 35 Game Changers of 2017 by Entrepreneurs magazine. He is a part of active investing groups and strategy teams. He has worked for corporations and startups, new initiatives at various stages of their evolution. He is the founder of Woohoo Doodh, one of the first to disrupt the dairy industry way before than Country Delight. An army kid who has lived, studied in 12 towns across 6 states. So thank you so much for guiding us, Rahul sir, on each and every step of our startup and family business. Thank you so much. Please give a big round of applause for Rahul sir. Now I welcome you all to Midas. Dear MIT students, we are thrilled to host you for Insights of Midas. Today, you will explore our innovative processes and engage in enriching discussions. We hope this experience inspires you and enhances your understanding of the dynamic world of entrepreneurship and business management skills. Enjoy the journey. Thank you so much, and we welcome you all.
Hello everyone, welcome to Insights at Midas. This journey of hosting multiple podcasts has been extremely enriching for me and Rahul here. Today, it's even more exciting for me, especially at Midas, because we remember a young girl walking in the year of 21, and COVID had stuck, and this batch was extremely special to us. It was an extremely small cohort, and we were in this bubble of not getting in, not getting out. But I would say that when I think of her, all I think of is this bubbly, extremely talented girl that I remember. Today, when I look at her journey after 3.5, 4 years, all I would say is it's an incredible journey. I'm here to be with Sriya Nerella, a very proud coach and mentor that I can introduce her today as someone who has grown so much. I'm introducing Kanuka Organics, a brand that was started by Shreya at Midas. The little thing that I would love to say to each one of you hearing this podcast today is that she had this gumption, this vision of doing this, and you have no idea the amount of persistence that she has kept on. She stays in Dahanu all alone for the last 3 years, and she's built her own palm jaggery manufacturing unit there. No one can be prouder of her than all of us here at Midas, because she was one of the persons that would never stop talking. And last time when I met her, Shreya made a comment that, ma'am, I don't sometimes talk for 3 days straight because I have no one to talk to. And that, I would say, is really the core of the madness that she carries of being an entrepreneur. I'm very proud and I'm very excited about the podcast today. So welcome to Insights at Midas, Shreya, and looking forward to having a lovely experience with you. Before we get on to the rest part, today she's the youngest entrepreneur that we've invited. Earlier, we've had, in all the podcasts that we've hosted, people who've really been in the industry for 20 plus years. So I think hearing from someone like Shreya will really add value to all these budding, aspiring entrepreneurs out there. So have a great one.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and your introduction has already made me feel so emotional because sometimes when you're in the journey, you actually forget where you have started. So I think I've been so busy recently thinking about what next. I actually forgot where I began and how far I've come.
So I must say that, every time I meet you, Shreya, even like, 3 months that you keep coming and, meeting me, Paraksa, I've always seen that, that little girl in you is still alive, but somewhere you've grown so much as well. So, incredible. And I'm very, very happy to have you here. Like, I mean, the amount of hard work you've put is very visible. One of the things that always comes to my mind also is that you came from a very, very different family, which probably none of them had ever done business. And you didn't know where the hell to start. They were like, why does she want to do this? And I wanted to ask you that where did the birth of Kanuka happen? What was your journey like, and where did this entire process start for you?
Okay, so since beginning, like since I was a kid, I always knew that I wanted to be different from others. So when I was a kid, I would take karate classes, like just to stand out of the crowd. I like standing out. I like getting that recognition that she's different. So that grew on me on later years, and then when everybody was talking about becoming an engineer or something, I I thought of doing something different, and it took me time to realize that it was business. So I experimented with things while I was in college. When I was like 17, that's when I started Kanuka. So that is not the same Kanuka that I have right now. It was a gifting business. So that made me realize that this is what I want to do. I have so much passion for doing business, no matter if it is profit or not profit. It's just that excitement to create something new and take it to the people, get their feedback, improve on it, work on it. So that made me realize this is what I want. And then it slowly transformed into Kanuka Organics because I wanted to work with something that is very close to my roots. So Kanuka Organics is based on my community. So we come from a community of toddy tappers, and I don't feel bad about saying anything about it because that's what has my ancestors did for like I don't know hundreds of thousands of years. That's where I come from, and because of the lack of technology in this industry, the current youth are diverting into multiple other fields and looking for jobs. So I wanted to bring innovation into this. I wanted it to be in on the same pace with all the other modern businesses. So that's what has inspired me.
Lovely. And what was the gap that you were trying to fill in when you thought of something like palm jaggery and really getting it to the market? So where did that come from?
Yeah. So I think I was lucky that way because I found the market gap and then a product that is very close to my community. So I joked about it with you, and then you said this is not something you should joke about because I told some doctor was telling me you are pre-diabetic at this age and you should quit sugar, and that's when I realized my parents are diabetic, my grandparents are diabetic. I think 70% of the people I meet are just struggling to quit sugar. It's a common problem. Every person that you talk to, they love sweets, but they have that guilt that they're having sweets for multiple reasons, like because they're gaining weight or because of the health reasons. So I did a little bit of research and then I understood this is a large problem with Indian population especially, and with the amount of sweets we eat. So this is a large market to tap in. And yeah, and then because toddy tapping, that's where Nira comes from. Nira is my raw material, which is refined and then processed and made into palm jaggery. Yeah.
So, what are the benefits of palm jaggery versus regular jaggery? Like, if you could just tell us.
So I keep telling people that rather than looking it at as benefits, there are a lot of benefits, but I would rather say I eat sweets for fun. I don't eat because I want to become healthy. I want to get rid of some disease. I eat for fun. So the least I can do is not have ill effects after eating it. I eat sugar. I have cavities. I have obesity. I have diabetes. At least I don't want that. That is the best part. So Kanuka started with a target segment of diabetic people, but then slowly we are transforming it into kids zone because why do we suffer suffer with this sugar cravings because we are used to it. We have been eating it our whole life. So what if we make it a habit for kids not to have refined sugar and have this instead? So yeah.
Sure.
So it is a better alternative, a tasty alternative, natural alternative to sugar.
And healthier.
Healthier, yeah.
So, Shreya, I'm very deeply interested to know from you your journey as a woman entrepreneur setting up a manufacturing facility in almost a tribal area, if I may say. Yeah, it's almost a tribal. So, what do you think has worked for you? Are there any unique advantages and disadvantages of being a woman and setting up a manufacturing facility? Because this is something which is very, very unique, I would say. And also, if you could give us some insights on, what your current labor workforce looks like and what is the ratio there and how do you manage them? So,
So I think to begin with, the initial few days, it felt like, being a Telugu person watching a Marathi movie. I don't understand anything. I'm just trying to pick the context of it. I was not understanding like how does a manufacturing unit work? Like where to begin with. I don't have anybody in my family, in my friend circle, nobody that could guide me saying, do this, then do this, and then do this. So I would bother everybody at Midas, like every week, call them, like, I am stuck here. Like, I'm always stuck. It was never like, okay, now it's going smoothly. No, I was always stuck with some problem. But I actually say this to everybody that you can never have enough knowledge to start something. You have to start and you have to keep figuring out. And you should be shameless at asking help. I might call you tomorrow, like I might actually call you tomorrow and say, I need this and I want you to help me with it.
Sure.
Yeah, so if they're available, they'll help. If they don't, they don't. So from the beginning, I always pick the call and ask people. So being a woman, that's an advantage also, because a lot of people were feeling like, okay, a girl is doing this, then we must support her. Maybe a boy probably wouldn't have had this much support. This is a positive effect. Like, there are negatives, but then this is a huge positive thing that you have. Even in fact, when I moved to Dahanu, all my friends are shop owners. Like, if I go to a puja samagri shop, he becomes my friend. Like, actually, yeah, I go to a medical shop, he is my friend, because everybody is curious, like, why are you coming to Dahanu from Hyderabad?
Sure.
So that's how the conversation starts, and then they become friends. So slowly, I build a community for myself there, where I can call people and ask anything I want help with. The transition took time, but again, like, I like exciting things, I like exploring, so it didn't scare me away. Whatever the difficulties I was facing, it didn't scare me away. It made me more strong. Like, I was like, if I can prove this, if I can do this, then the childhood dream of standing out will become much stronger. Now I can absolutely stand alone and say, oh, I've done this. Yeah, like, and then this language was a big issue, because it's a place between Maharashtra and Gujarat. So there are a lot of things that I didn't understand. First manufacturing, then the language, then the people. So it took time.
How do you manage labor? I was just like at the manufacturing facility, you must have recruited a lot of. So is the labor workforce also a mixed ratio of men and women, or is it just?
My whole process is mostly dependent on physical work. Like, people have to climb the trees and take the nira out. That is
Right.
the major work. I have mostly men, because it's not possible to replace with women.
Right.
I have in the production unit women working for me. Yeah.
And how do you communicate with them?
So initially, the communication was mostly sign language, like showing I need this, I need that. Slowly, I learned, and you know how bad my Hindi was.
Yes, extremely bad. I don't want you to say anything today in Hindi, but yeah.
Yeah, I would address a man as female and female as male. So that used to happen, and I think they
Wow.
they had fun. I think they were laughing about it. Yeah, but now I think it is better. I think slowly I've figured out, and I've learned how to communicate with them.
Sure. Amazing. Yeah, I think it's the language of intent that you speak.
Yeah.
You don't know each other's language, and that really works.
Yeah, it's
So-
again like how a Telugu person is watching Marathi movie. The same thing, but here you don't have subtitles also.
So, what is the core mission of Kanuka, and where do you sort of see this thing impacting people over the next few years?
I want people to, like, not worried about what they eat. End of the day, we all want, that part. Like, you don't want to control on your food. And, what is the purpose of working so hard if you can't just eat what you want?
True.
Right. So for now, we are mostly focused on that. And again, there are a lot of alternatives. Like, you have stevia for sugar. But the minute I eat stevia, I'm like, I better eat sugar and die.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat this. This is not sweet. So yeah. So at least with food, when it comes, you need to have that comfort. We want to build that for every age group. just not just the diabetic patients, and we are also working on few more products in the coming season. Value added products with palm jaggery, like hot chocolate or pancake mix, chocolate bars.
Yeah.
That is the vision for next 5-10 years to make a brand.
So I would like to actually get to know a little more about you setting up the manufacturing unit and understanding, because that early stage of setting up a palm jaggery. Is there any other manufacturing unit which is there in India? So yours is the first one in your area, or so, like what kind of a assistance did you have to set up a unit? It's one thing to like call people and ask questions, but how did you go about the whole journey of understanding the process and setting it up? And how long did it take?
So when I was in Midas, I started my research, and then once you put the word out that this is something that I'm working on, people start giving you some reference. Like I know somebody who was talking about this. Then you call that person, and then he'll give you another resource. Because it's not a common product, I didn't get a direct information about somebody directly. I had to approach few people, and then I finally found out there is a manufacturer in Andhra Pradesh. So I requested him. They were kind enough to show me the unit and then explain me how it works. So I'm not the first unit, but most of these units are by government or by NGO or a trust. So there are very few private people in this industry, and in Maharashtra, I'm the only one who is doing at this scale with fully automated. So palm jaggery has always been a traditional product. Like uh, people would just make small batches of it in their own farm on the wood fire. That was the culture that is still there. uh, to make it according to the food standard, like you have other industries where you have all hygiene maintained and a very good standard, like a manufacturing unit. I wanted to have that instead of having a regular local product. So, uh, I, so once I started the research, and I had a little bit help from the existing manufacturers. They gave me contacts of the machinery manufacturers, and then some central government institutes that are working on the development of this product. So I went down to Kerala. I stayed there for a couple of days, understood about the product myself. There are some scientists working on this development, so I was in touch with them regularly, and I think I improved my knowledge on it. First it started with passion, but then I started learning about it, and then I got a clear idea. Okay, this is what you are supposed to do. Initially I didn't know where to begin, but once I got one contact, it came in line, like everything fell in line.
So the government has really been a huge part of helping you through,
Yeah.
the grants, helping you. Was it Maharashtra or was it?
It's a central government scheme.
So you had to go and apply to the central government.
Every region has one place that will help you with the central grants.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not a grant, it's a loan.
Got it. So
Yeah.
they helped you in terms of setting up the manufacturing.
No, they don't help you with the manufacturing. They just help you with the funding.
That's it.
Yeah, because as a first time entrepreneur, my product is still not out. It's just on paper. I don't think any investor would trust and put 50, 60 lakhs on me. So you can instead approach for this government loans, which has subsidies and other kind of benefits.
And what about land acquisition? Like you acquired land?
I've taken everything on lease because it is a risky thing, because I don't know how long I'll be existing in Dahanu, and you know right now the land prices are so high. Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this whole loan, the grant that you got through the central government, is it specifically for women entrepreneurs?
No, it's for everybody, but for women entrepreneurs, you have little bit extra subsidy or less interest rate, something like that.
Right. So that's a great way to, motivate a few girls out there to sort of even look at something. If funding is an issue, they can always go and approach.
That's actually a very nice point, because I've seen some incubation centers making it a mandate that women has to be a part of your business if you want to get these benefits from the government. So because of that reason, people started involving their mothers, their wives. So some or the other way, they come out and they explore and they get to know,
True,
right?
true,
Yeah.
true.
So, Shreya, I am very curious to also know some of your major setbacks. Some anecdotes of some major setbacks where you lost all hope. I mean, if there were any. Generally, there
There are
are.
so many. Which one should I tell?
Choose the most entertaining one. But I think it's important for all the budding entrepreneurs to talk about setbacks.
Initially, when I had everything planned out, my machinery and everything, I knew that there is a government loan available, but then the drawback of these loans is there's no information available anywhere what is the right procedure. One bank manager will say you need these documents, and the next one will say no, I don't need these documents, I want some other documents. So it's just so confusing. So I was mentally prepared that I'm getting this loan, I'll start it. And then I went to the manager. He was like, no, you have to show me 1 crore worth of property, and that's when you'll get it. I'm like, if I have 1 crore worth of property, why will I come to you with 50 lakhs loan? So he was not convinced. I'm telling you, according to the rule, you're not supposed to take it. Like, according to the rule that is described on the website, that's not a rule. But he was like, no, I need it for my bank security or safety. So, because I still didn't have so much knowledge that you can go to another bank and still have hope, I didn't know. I thought this was dead end. I literally stood in front of the bank and I was crying because I was not understanding what to do. Where do I go from here? I spent already 1.5 year on this research, and I was finally thinking that okay, now everything will start and everything will go smoothly. And he was like, I will not give you loan. Yeah. So
So, what did you do after that?
first I cried, and then I think when I cry, people help me more. So when I cried, one uncle was like, "Why are you crying?" I said, "He's not giving me loan." He was like, "Then go to SBI." I was like, "Oh, that I can do that." I thought my account is here, so I should approach here only. I had zero knowledge on this procedure, because the kind of upbringing we have, we never talk about loans and what is the procedure. So he said, go to SBI. And I went to SBI, and he was like, yeah, we will give it. We don't need any property.
No, one of the things that I'm very surprised as of now is the fact that I knew you as one of the most defiant people also, in the sense that I know your parents were like, no, this is not happening, right? And they were not comfortable with you doing all of this. But at the end of the course, I also remember that when you won the Midas Bazaar, the Entrepreneur of the Year as well, your mom, for some reason, just went on the other side. She also has a really strong political background, and all of that, and she just came on board she just flipped around, and I think that also for you did matter a lot, right? So, how did you get on the other side of your family? This is not easy,
Yeah.
Shreya.
I think the reason I'm so stubborn and that I want to stand out is because of my mom. Because she's not impressed easily. I get 19 and she's like, where is 100? So she's always very hard to impress. So that's why I work so hard to impress her. My standards are so high now that I don't get very happy with small achievements also. So for her, it was like, nobody knows about this product, and why do you want to suffer so much? It's not like she doesn't want me to work on any business, but she's like, why do you want to choose a tough
This.
path? And if you choose this, you have to stay far away from home, you have to work with men on field. They're not very educated, you don't know how they'll react to you, if they will even take you seriously, because it is very difficult to gain respect among those men. They don't take a woman of my age so seriously. So she had her own fears as a mother, but then once I won Midas Bazaar and when people started appreciating, then she thought, okay, maybe this is practical. Coming from her background, she didn't find it so practical initially.
No, Shreya, I think also what worked for you is, you remember you'd made those
Yeah,
cupcakes
yeah, yeah.
with palm jaggery, and everybody loved how they tasted. So I think, you really put your brain in terms of how well does palm jaggery work for multiple
Yes.
things? And then she realized that, oh, it's not just putting it in your tea.
Exactly.
There were
Yeah.
multiple uses of what
Yes.
you were doing, and they were tasty.
Right.
So
So
I
palm
think,
jaggery was always conceived as like something you can put into your tea, coffee, or some traditional Indian desserts. But then we experimented. We made cold chocolate and then cold coffees, and then we made cupcakes, muffins, and it was tasting amazing. People were like, "Are you sure you didn't add sugar to this?"
correct.
Yeah, and so I think that worked. Thinking differently worked.
I think in terms of your, that I think conceptually for young entrepreneurs, it's very important for them to know that showcase different ways of using the same product so that people are able to understand what your goal is ultimately. So I think that is a very interesting way of doing
Because
it.
we don't want customer to struggle to understand how to use this.
Correct.
If
That kind of a consumer centric approach to doing what you want to do, but giving what the customer wants,
we need to show them the
is
possibilities.
a discussion
Yeah.
we keep having about product characteristics and benefits to the end user. So I think there you just communicated and spoke the user language. So that is amazing. Yeah.
Also, like one more question I had is, so Kanuka had a very nice brand image that I feel was created, especially with your gifting idea as well when you started young. And I'm glad that you actually maintained the same name going ahead. And how are you focusing on creating Kanuka as a brand? One. And two, I want to know, how did that video just go viral for you? Today you are like 35,000 plus followers on Kanuka. And I remember once I was talking to you and you were like, "Ma'am, I woke up and I don't know what happened." So I think you need to speak about
Yeah.
how social media branding has played a role for Kanuka.
I think I broke all the rules that Instagram has. Hashtag, timing, day, content. I had nothing. I just randomly spoke. I was just talking boring stuff that I started this business with this income and with the normal dress, no hangama, no drama. And then two people are working behind on a machine. And at 2 a.m. in the night, I was like, let me upload. If people see it, they see. Otherwise, it's okay. I uploaded it and then I woke up. It was 10K. I was so happy. I have 10K views. I never imagined I would get 10K. And then by evening, it was like 60K, 70K. It was not stopping at all. It went 1.5 million, and I went from 1500 followers to 35,000 followers in 2 days.
Yeah.
I think that's when I realized, keeping aside Instagram or anything, end of the day, it's the consumer who is watching it. What is their mentality? They are also bored of watching this staged, fake videos. They were just interested in knowing what is happening out there. So most of the views or the reach was because today, I think at this minute, if you talk, there are hundreds of people talking about some business idea around India. Every corner, I think at every tea stall, people are talking about some new idea.
Of course, at Midas we are betting on that.
Yeah, like, but how many of them come out? Like hundreds every minute they discuss, but hundreds every year also won't come out. That was the reason why my video went viral, because they were curious. Like, how did she do it? How
Correct.
did she start this? And the machine behind looks so huge. How did she get it? So that curiosity was the one that got reach.
And do you think the brand building activity, that sort of the colors, the scheme, the logo, everything, I believe it was so beautifully executed. I think I will not forget Kanuka's branding, because also you revealed it at the Midas Bazaar with those small jars that you had printed it on, and it still remains the logo. And the color is so beautiful. It's green, and it has a lot of uh, attributes of you. I believe in that. Again, coming from a very creative mindset. So, how did creativity and this whole logo process, and how did Kanuka as a name come to you? Can you just share it very quickly with us?
Yeah, like the inspiration that I have is the brand story. So I wanted my roots to be there, to be seen. So right now on our image, we have a toddy tapper, exactly dressed as a toddy tapper, and then we have a woman with a pot because there is a story to it. Initially, when men went for tapping, women used to do the selling part usually. So we don't want it to be forgotten, like, we want that story to be talked about, people to know what they're purchasing, where it comes from. So I didn't really think if it would look nice or not, but I wanted it to be there and we made it look nice.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Amazing. I think what's been really working for you is being authentic more than wanting to be different. I mean, that's what I think is the most beautiful thing, that you want to keep things the way they are, but you want to adapt and possibly bring it forward in a contemporary way.
So we didn't change our ideas or the brand story according to what will be accepted in the market. Rather, whatever the brand story we already have, we just fine tuned it.
So, how did you sort of find the target audience for the brand that you're looking for? Of course, there was a lot of research that went in, and now you're also talking about kids being the first. And I remember you saying this very vaguely also in your presentation, but that was like a far off. Probably they were the last target audiences that you were looking at.
Yeah.
And how have you identified the target for Kanuka?
I think whenever I talk about Kanuka or how it started, there's a lot of emotion behind it, and the same thing behind people purchasing it also. So, if they can afford it, no parent would want their kid to have a below average product. They want their kid to have the best. So if a normal chocolate is costing them 5 rupees and a Palm Jaggery based chocolate is costing them 10 rupees, they don't mind spending that extra 5 rupees because they know that kid has to eat. He will eventually eat because everybody else is eating a chocolate. He will eat. They can't control it.
Correct.
So I observed that parents are very protective. This generation, especially this generation, maybe our parents, and they were all not very, like, uh, uh, they were busy with their own life. They didn't focus on what am I feeding my kid, where am I sending them, what skills they're learning. But this generation, they want their kids to have the best of everything. So that was the emotion behind it. So that's when I thought, okay, this is not the last part of my target segment, but this is a major part of my target segment. They don't mind spending money, they want their kids to have the best, and we will do that.
So you are targeting young parents as your primary segment.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. If you see in urban areas, most of the kids, they actually have everything. Like, you see them going to the best schools, you see them learning multiple skills, and parents are focused on their mental health. Like, we didn't know what mental health was. Like, now they're talking about positive parenting. So they're very careful with their kids. They treat them like they treat them very precious. So food is again the major part. What you feed them is, like, what you eat is what you become. We have all learned that. So yeah.
And one more thing that, and I'm very curious again, very interested in knowing what sort of a leader are you becoming now?
You know me, and I was always very authoritative, like, I don't want this, I don't want you to do that. And people would fight with me here, but then they will quit. So I don't have an option. So slowly I have become more of collaborative, like, you know I also have realized there is nothing that I alone know and nobody knows. There's a lot of things that my employees know better than me. I don't know what happens with the tree. He knows it better. So I've learned to understand what they're trying to tell me and go change my decisions accordingly. I give a lot of freedom to them to tell me what is happening, because in a way I am learning from them because they are seniors to me. They have been in this industry, they are tapping trees for last 20-25 years. I am new to it, so I cannot command them and say do it this way. So I think there are few things that you cannot sit here in the classroom and make changes. So when people told me you need to change your style, maybe I had an intention to change, but to execute it, I didn't have a situation to execute it. But when I went there, there was no other option than learning and executing, and otherwise, Kanuka would be shut down. So I don't want
Correct.
that.
Correct. And I think one of the major things that probably you would have worked on, Shreya, is listening, because you know, sometimes, like you were, yes, like you said, you were authoritative, but the amazing changes that I'm seeing again in you is that listening to everybody. Of course, even if they're talking, it's maybe not making sense to you. But I think one of the nicest things that you said right now is, collaboratively work with your team, because especially when you need to learn more about the product, right? So they probably know more. And I love the aspect that you're saying that about people who come from absolutely the labor class, right? But I've understood one thing, that they know their job better than us. We don't climb trees, like, so I think it's amazing that you are realizing and recognizing all of this, and that's something that I admire. So it's great to know that there's a complete collaborative approach to your leadership as well.
So, how important do you think after setting up all of this is listening? Is listening more important, or is
So
talking more important?
I think one thing I've learned is communication is important because the whole world works on communication. You take politics, you take teaching, you take business, everything works on communication. A politician wins when he is able to communicate well. He will communicate well when he listens what the people want. And a brand will communicate well when they know what their audience want. So it's a two-way process. I listen to them, but then I need to give them the right answer. I've listened to them, but I'm talking random things. They'll not take me seriously. I need to analyze what they're speaking and understand what they're expecting. So listening is not always what they're saying. There are certain things they don't say out. They're just hidden somewhere. Like, however friendly I am, they cannot just come and ask me anything, right? So I tried to understand.
I mean, how did this process happen when
Yeah.
you didn't know their language?
I think it was more like, again, help is what I'm going to highlight so much, because the best part is you don't know something, but you'll have somebody who knows it. You just ask them for help. So when I don't know the language, I ask somebody, can you please translate what he's saying? So there are few people who speak English, Hindi, and there are few people who speak Gujarati. So one uncle was talking to me in Gujarati. The person that's standing beside me, I don't even know him. I'm like, can you please translate what he's saying? So I think the initial stage went mostly like that, having somebody beside me. Can you translate what I'm telling to him and translate back to me?
So, Shreya, are you a person for whom asking for help has always been easy?
Very easy.
It's always been easy.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It just comes naturally to me. I don't think so much. If it is a major help, like I'm a very shy person when it takes away your time. Like I would not impose on you that come talk to this person for me and sort it out for me. I would there is a limit, there is a boundary to it. I would just ask you, can you connect me to this person? Is it possible with you? So that extent I can ask for help. I think that is the reason why people didn't hesitate helping me also, because I never impose anything on them. I don't make them uncomfortable, or I don't make them cross their limit and do something for me. Yeah.
I think it's very important to focus on this aspect of taking help, because most people shy away from
Yeah.
saying, listen, I need some help, especially if it's financial, actually.
Yeah.
But when you realize that it's okay, I'm not doing something wrong by asking for help or asking for guidance, is when you grow in multiple ways
Yeah, but
also.
I've always asked help that will not cost them anything.
Correct,
It was
correct.
never financial, or I need
Yeah,
an
yeah.
investment, or I need money. Yeah.
Yeah, she's never.
What Pooja is talking about is the right balance of asking and giving. I think you should never shy away from.
Yes, and you should also remember, when you take help, you will be expected to help back, and if that's when, if you run away, then next time they're not going to help you out. You should remember that it's a two-way
Very,
thing.
very important lesson in early stage of being an entrepreneur. I think that receiving and giving both are equally important. If you are not, receiving, or you are not giving, both of them is not going to, it's going to lead to a lopsided
I
situation.
think that is why I'm ready to ask for help, because I'm usually there. When people wants my help, I'm there. I don't hesitate, or that's again a problem because I can't say no. But again, because I know I'm ready to help, I also assume that okay, if I ask them, they will also help.
Correct.
Yeah.
Shreya, one more thing that comes to my mind today is that personally and professionally, uh, who has inspired you to get till here and what's keeping you going every day?
Uh, Personally, I think having a very strong mom at home, I didn't feel it is difficult for a woman to come out and work. I felt it was a very natural and normal thing to do, because I've seen her growing up, and because she's that kind of woman. She also had friend circle who were all like gynecologists or some kind of doctors, dancers. So I've seen them, and I thought, okay, what else will you do? You will work. So I've also seen her struggle, not getting what she wants, and she still would go on and try her best. So she has always been my inspiration without even like realizing, and that's the reason behind my journey, not giving up whenever it is tough. But again, professionally speaking, I think the inspiration professionally started when we were having this session with Parag sir before joining Midas. So there was a group call we made, and then sir was asking us, "Does your moral compass stand with Ratan Tata or another person?" So I was like, Ratan Tata. So that's when I realized, okay, I think this is what I want to be like. When you think about Tata, when you think about him, all you have is very positive vibe, very good vibe. You don't feel like I have to question this brand. Whatever comes out of that brand, you can trust it. So eventually it just inspired me, learning about him, the way he dealt with situations, like being one of the biggest companies, still thinking about below average people, like what can I do for them, how can I give them comfort. So that actually made me feel, okay, business is not always about how much money you make and how powerful you are in business, how much market share you have. It's also about what kind of ethics you carry and how much you care for people. So I think I have that in my mind always, that when people see Kanuka, I don't want some kind of controversies, or it happens a lot in food industry. Now you see how people are talking about Nestle, people are talking about Maggie, people are talking about where, because of food farmer, everybody started analyzing every ingredient that is going into the food that we consume. So at any point of time, I don't want Kanuka to have that image that people should think twice that, oh, this brand, we should stay away from it. I want their whole trust and to believe in me, even if making a good product makes me put little more efforts and cut down my profits. I am still okay with it, rather than giving a bad product and earning money. I think I'm okay with giving a good product and earning less money. Yeah.
Superb.
So, Shreya, what would be your advice to young budding entrepreneurs now that you are, in phase two of probably scaling up and you've just set up?
Yeah, I think I already brought this a point up uh, previously also, that you can never have enough knowledge. Like, people keep thinking, okay, once this is done, I will start. Once I get this information, I will start my business. So I don't want them to wait for that right moment. There will never be a right moment. They will never have enough information, because if suppose you're ready to deal with few subjects, there is a third subject that you don't know, I always think about this. Like in school, I had syllabus, I had subjects that I can get prepared for math exam, and then I can go give exam for that. It is social, I can go give social exam. Life is like all mixed. You don't know where to use your math, where you don't know where to use your social. So it's all very mixed up. So you cannot prepare like it's an exam and then I'll give my final test. That is my business. You have to start. It's like everyday test you have to learn. So my advice is start and then figure out. Don't figure out, wait for figuring out and then start. And the other thing is, if you have already started, I would say feeling low is very, very normal. Like I was telling you, like every day, once I will feel I am so dumb to start this. Why did I start this? Yeah. So every day that moment comes, and it's very normal. Initially, I used to feel okay, I'm not strong enough, and that is why I'm feeling this way. But then, after having conversation with other entrepreneurs, I've realized this is normal. If you're worried and if you're feeling like giving up, then it is definitely normal, and that means you're on right track. So I say that don't panic if you don't know something and you feel low or giving up. Don't feel low. And I think those are the situations where you actually realize how much strength you have. So if everything is going smooth, you actually don't realize how much strength you have and what all you can do. The minute a obstacle comes, that's when all your knowledge, all that you have gained, the experience will come out and you will implement it.
Just to reiterate that question, Midas has no books and no exams. And you put it so beautifully that it's not a subject that you can go and just pass by learning something. It is those moments when all your experiences come on board, and failure is probably your biggest teacher, like Parag sir keeps reiterating. So I think it was really nice for me and Rahul to make this conversation with you, Shreya. But the audience is very keen to ask
But
you
I
a
would
few
like to
questions.
add something. Like Vidas is where I've realized that you cannot put boxes like, this is social, this is Hindi, this is this. In life, everything is one big box. You need to analyze what to apply where. So when we went through subjects like effectuation and then, design thinking, that's where I realized, it's just a huge block of information you have. You need to realize which one to pick and which one to apply. And suddenly it becomes so normal. Like for suppose you are not a very good swimmer but you have learned a little, but when you're thrown into an ocean, you will not go back like, oh, what did my teacher say, did he say right hand left hand? You will start swimming. So that's the same way when I got into business. I was not sitting and like, what did Parag sir say, but it became so part of me that I was implementing it and then realizing, oh, I implemented this, I didn't even realize it. Yeah.
Beautiful. ये वाला take अच्छे से लेना है.
Yeah.
Many times when Parag sir is speaking or I attend the classes at Midas, I can reflect upon my journey and a lot of it starts making sense. Yeah.
Because like ma'am told, there were no books. We were not reading what is infatuation, what is the answer, how many points this answer will have. No, we were given practical workshop, like assignments to do. We were given one big random pieces of cloth, put it into a quilt and learn about quilt. How do you work together in collaboration? So that's how practical our education was. So I will always remember it.
Thank you, Shreya. So, guys, anyone has any questions, you all can.
Sriya, your journey was truly inspirational for all of us as you started from everything from scratch. So I had one major question that in the journey of starting to setting up a manufacturing unit and to doing the first sale, in that journey it is a lonely journey that I feel. But in that lonely journey, there are some things like our thought process is different, our decisions, our planning is different, and 100 other people are saying different things that this may work and this may not work. So that leads to self doubt sometimes. That reiterates our thinking and lets us think again that are we validating or not. So in the journey of your whole journey of setting up a manufacturing and doing a sale, what were your key takeaways of spending time, or like key takeaways from as you had this the self doubt would be always iterating. So how did you overcome that self doubt and being more confident about doing so?
So that is a very good point because I used to struggle with one thing. So when you're in class, when you're doing brainstorming, you have your subject on board, like your product on board, and all the other people are also contributing to it. They are giving their ideas. And if you come up with one idea, you have a person to discuss it with and say, you know what, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? you have that to and fro conversation to brainstorm and come to a conclusion. But for me, like I was telling, for 2 to 3 days I would not talk to anyone because I don't have anyone. I stay alone at home, and rest are my employees. I can't brainstorm with them on my strategies. So I would actually go into that loophole sometimes, like, okay, am I even right? Why am I even doing this? I would end up with, why am I doing this? I have no knowledge about it. But again, that's where my cycle ends. And again, I come back. I'm like, okay, but to figure this out, what can I do? So it always went like what information I've already gathered in the past. So at one point, I genuinely felt this, that whatever solution I'm coming up with comes from knowledge that I've gained. So I've gained only limited knowledge. So always I'm thinking and searching in this only. So I started researching more. I started understanding, okay, to come up with better solutions, I need more knowledge. So I started researching. So one thing I always do is, if I don't know anything, I would first Google it. I'll learn about it. I'll ask somebody that knows about it. I'll ask them. So I took a lot of help from experts at that particular subject. And when it comes to self doubt, I think I'm just very lucky that I have a lot of people constantly telling me that you're on right track. Sometimes when I don't even discuss with them and tell, what, I'm actually feeling low, I think they understood it, that okay, she's staying alone. It is very possible and normal that she might be going through this phases of self doubt. So people would call me up and say, we're very proud of you. We have just seen your video, and I think you should know that I feel really proud about you, and what you're doing is very great. So I think I cannot tell you that somebody has to tell this to you, but I can tell you also need to give it to your friends. You need to give that encouragement to your friends who are on that journey. Yeah.
So even I have an interesting question because I also come from food industry. But the products which I sell, people already know that product, and it is easy for me to bring it in the market. But your product, it was something different, which people don't have the knowledge, a proper knowledge. So I'm pretty sure in the initial stage you might have faced a lot of problems in giving knowledge to the people. So how did you overcome that thing?
I say that we are still in the initial stage. We didn't overcome it. We're still going through it. So instead of doing marketing on how, like buy this product, instead of our ads saying buy this product, we are just educating them on what the product is. We're not tying up with influencers that can sell my product. We're tying up with people that can talk about my product, like for suppose a nutritionist, a dietitian, a fitness coach. So those are the people that has knowledge on it. So when they say, people can understand. Now first stage is just letting them know what the product is. I can't say, the influencer cannot come and say, I'm using this, that's why you use this. But this is what the product is. Now it's your choice to buy. That is what we're doing currently. Yeah.
I had my second question is like, as I am also doing something in a health category segment, and it is very hard, and because there are multiple and hundreds of players, those are actually not selling healthy products. So in that market, what is your longer vision, and what do you think, like how would you crack this market, and how would you make sure that your brand stands out with different one?
So I think COVID has done one positive thing, is now everybody is self-conscious. I don't know how much we were conscious about what we are eating before COVID. After COVID, everybody started, paying attention to the food. So that has helped us, because now if the market was 10%, at least it grew to 15%. And you can also see, because all of us are educated, we are also getting into that stage. Once we start earning, we will also start investing on our food. So the market will only grow, it will not reduce. The more aware people come into the market, the larger the market becomes. I think it's the non-healthy brands that needs to think how they're going to survive in this market, and not us. Because you see how amazing these Instagram uh, influencers, like food farmer, they're going viral because they don't know, like, I mean, people didn't know that these ingredients are harmful. That's the kind of information people have right now, and they're helping us make people aware. So the more people are aware, people are going to stop, consuming those products. So we don't have to worry about healthy food. Yeah.
So, Shreya, you started this very exciting part of the podcast, which is the rapid fire questions. And this is just to know you a little more, and everyone should have a little fun with you as well. So, are you ready for your first question?
Yes.
Okay. So, your favorite moment at Midas?
When I won CR election.
Okay. Most used app on your phone?
Instagram.
Tea or coffee?
Neera.
A city you'd love to live in?
Hyderabad.
Biggest inspiration?
Ratan Tata.
One thing you can't live without?
Phone.
Early riser or a late sleeper?
Very late.
Very late sleeper. How do you unwind after a long day?
I love going to the beach.
So you go and walk on the beach.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
just 3 kilometers away.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Favorite way to spend a weekend?
With friends.
The best advice you've ever received?
I think everything will fall in place once I take control over my emotions, professionally and personally.
Okay, one word that describes you best.
Confident.
Most challenging part of being an entrepreneur.
Ma'am, that's a very lengthy answer. I can't give a rapid.
But what is the toughest part?
Being an entrepreneur.
Itself is a challenge. Okay, best part of your job.
I have control over my decisions and nobody's influencing them, giving me commands.
If you could have dinner with anyone, alive or historical, who would it be?
Again, a dream that was not fulfilled, Ratan Tata.
You wanted to have dinner with him.
No, I just wanted to meet him for 5 seconds.
A product you're obsessed with, other than Kanuka.
Food. Maggie.
Maggie, you're obsessed with, oh God. Favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
A cause you're passionate about.
I'm starting to work on something, bringing art as a core subject to do personality development in government schools.
Okay, lovely. What motivates you every day?
Not giving up,
Not giving up.
like not failing in front of everybody now.
So, Shreya, that was your rapid fire, which was so not rapid today. But I enjoyed making this conversation with you in a very different perspective of seeing you as an entrepreneur and not as a student. Understanding that you made life.
But I definitely felt like a student when I came later. You're like, Sriya, what is this?
Yeah, I did shout at her. I said, 15 minutes I've been calling you. That time I forgot your guest. All right. So thank you so much, Shreya, for being a part of this podcast that Midas has been hosting. We are very proud of who you're becoming as an entrepreneur, and none of us here even doubted for a second that you're going to be one of the biggest successes that we will watch, and we're very proud of you. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.